is up, everybody? BK voiceover here. Welcome to yet another Seahawks offseason scenario video. This is part 4 of my 2023 offseason scenario series, and this time around, we are going to get down into the nitty-gritty of outside free agents that I want Seattle to bring in. We're going to go over 5 free agents I think Seattle should go out and grab. Before we do that, we're going to go over and recap our previous 3 parts and get a feel for what the roster would look like if we made the moves that we made in part 1, which was just mainly going over the current roster as it stands right now. Part 2 was re-signing our own players. Part 3 was cutting players, restructuring players, extending players, and getting the roster into shape for free agency and the upcoming draft. So before we get into that, be sure to drop a like down below, hit the subscribe button if you like the content and want to see more Seahawks off-season, regular season, and post-season, hopefully, content. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get underway and do our quick recap. Alright, so after throwing together the roster as it stands after the last 3 videos, here is what our roster looks like right now. For your own reference, if a player does not have an asterisk next to their name, it means that they were already under contract and we didn't have to re-sign them. If they have a single asterisk next to their name, it means they were signed already to futures deals. A futures deal is for the veteran minimum that they're eligible for, and it's fully non-guaranteed. So if they're cut sometime in the offseason, you don't owe them any money. And then if they have 2 asterisks next to their name, it means that we went ahead and they were pending free agents, and we went ahead and re-signed them. So, the pending free agents for Seattle, we went out and re-signed. We went out and re-signed Geno Smith. We went out and re-signed Rashad Penny. We went out and re-signed Tony Jones and Godwin Igwebuike. They were exclusive rights free agents. We went out and re-signed Cody Thompson. We went out and re-signed Austin Blythe and Phil Haynes. Austin Blythe, I'm not expecting to be our starting center, but I think he gets brought back for backup money. Phil Haynes, we re-signed Miles Adams, we re-signed John Radigan and Tanner Muse, we re-signed Mike Jackson, and we re-signed Ryan Neal, as well as Carson Tinker to be our new long snapper. As far as cuts go, we made a few cuts to open up cap space and to just shed some players who were not performing up to expectations. So we went ahead and we cut Al Woods. We went ahead and we cut Brian Monet. We went ahead and cut Quentin Jefferson. And we went ahead and cut guard Gabe Jackson. So that is a quick rundown of the roster as it stands. Let's take a look at our current cap space after we finished making those moves. So let's scroll over here. So if we consider the cap space that we discussed in last week's video, we see that the total cap space we have available for free agency is about $25 million. So this is our new total cap space, taking into account paying our own draft class as well as sidelining money for IR and our practice squad. So as far as effective cap space we'll have in this situation, we're about $25 million, which is a good, decent amount to play with. We can make a lot of moves here, I think, with that. So without further ado, we will go ahead and we are going to get into the meat of this video. We're going to discuss 5 free agents that Seattle should go out and re-sign. So without further ado, we'll get into the real meat of this. Now, the first player on our list, I think, is a man who requires absolutely zero introduction, and that is none other than Washington Commanders defensive tackle Daron Payne. 6'3", 320 pounds. He is coming off by far and away the greatest year of his young career. 5 seasons in the NFL. He was playing the past year on his 5th-year option. Finished the season 5 passes defense to fumble recovery, 11.5 sacks, along with 64 tackles, 18 tackles for loss, 20 QB hits. He is probably one of the best defensive linemen available in this entire free agency class. And understandably, he is going to cost, if Seattle wants to go after him, a pretty penny. He's only 25. He's only going to be 26 at the start of the 2023 season. So he's young. He's got a lot of football left to play, and he's been very productive. Only concern is he is going to be incredibly expensive. Incredibly expensive. If we take a look over here at Spotrac, they're predicting his market value to be 5 years, $97.4 million essentially. So average out's about $19.4 million per year. Now, I think that he is going to end up getting something around here. I'm expecting average value around $20 million a year. So I'm going to, in this scenario, we are going to offer Daron Payne 4 years, $80 million, that allows him to hit the free agency market again by the time that he is 30 or just turning 30. So I think 4 years would be good for him. And that is paying him pretty much right around his market value. The only concern I have is I don't see the Commanders letting him walk for free. My guess is they're going to franchise tag him and if they can't reach a deal, try and trade him. But I would still be willing to give up a first-round pick to go out and get Daron Payne. I think he's absolutely worth a first-round pick. But we shall see. So anyways, first deal of the day, we got 4 years, $80 million to Daron Payne. We'll kind of fudge the numbers and just, hey, like, a first year cap hit, let's say around $14 million. So already we've burned through more than half of our $25 million we had to start off. Our second free agent that we are going to go out and sign for the Seattle Seahawks is none other than linebacker Drew Tranquill from the Los Angeles Chargers. So a little backstory on Tranquill. So Tranquill was drafted in the back in 2019, the 4th round, 130th overall to the Los Angeles Chargers. Primarily playing inside linebacker, and this was his first 3 seasons. Didn't really have a whole heck of a lot of production, didn't really have a whole heck of a lot of snaps to play. He was used a bit more in a starting role in 2021, but 2022 was really his breakout year after linebacker Kaiser White left in free agency and went and signed with the Eagles and had a fantastic year. This opened up a lot more playing time for Tranquill, and he really shined. He showed that he is a fantastic coverage linebacker. He followed up a very strong coverage season in 2021 with another strong cover season. Here in 2022, even had his first career interception along with 4 passes defensed. He's also fantastic on the blitz. He had a total of 15 pressures and 5 sacks as well as 10 tackles for loss. Able to get into the backfield effectively. And I think that is kind of what has been missing from this line. While having a lot of great tackling machines is great, we kind of miss that, like, a great coverage linebacker who can be on the blitz effectively in KJ Wright. And I think Drew Tranquill would be a fantastic addition, especially since with Jordan Brooks likely not being ready for the start of the season, we're going to need more linebacker depth for sure. We already went out and re-signed Tanner Muse and John Radigan as part of this scenario, but we need more of a veteran presence in that linebacker core, and Drew Tranquill, I think, would be fantastic to step in and be that leader that's very much needed. As far as the contract breakdown, Spotrac has him getting something along the lines of 1 year, $4 million. To try and keep his cap hit down this season, I'm going out and I'm going to re-sign him to actually the amount that PFF figures that he'll probably get 2 years, $8.5 million. That's a little more than $4 million a year, but we can knock his year 1 cap hit down. We'll call it something like $3 million cap hit in the first year. So yeah, I think a fantastic pickup of Drew Tranquill, especially he'll be joining his previous teammate Uchenna Nwosu. I'm sure that he would be fantastic in trying to recruit Tranquill to our cause. So yeah. Drew Tranquill is our second free agent of the day. Our third free agent of the day, I am going to go out and get some more depth at our nose tackle position after we went ahead and cut Al Woods and Brian Monet. We're going to go out and get a veteran option in Jonathan Hankins, the defensive tackle for the Dallas Cowboys. He was actually traded mid-season from the Raiders, which team he spent the previous 5 seasons with, to be more depth along that defensive line. Didn't have a huge year. He's up there in age. He's not going to cost you a whole heck of a lot. That one season with those 2 teams, played in 10 games, had a pass defense, 20 combined tackles. He's not a pass rusher. He is a run defender, and I think that's decent depth at a decent price to help back up and reshape this defensive line. I don't think he's going to cost a whole heck of a lot. They don't even have a market value on him here at Spotrac, but considering the fact that he signed a 1 year, not even 1 year, $1.325 million contract with the Raiders, I don't expect him to cost that much, especially the fact that he's going to be 31 at the start of next season. So I would give him 1 year, $1.5 million. And our fourth and final cap move, our free agency move, we are going to go out and we are going to shore up the trenches yet again, but this time on the offensive side. I know I said 5 free agent signings, but in retrospect, I now realize that with my expensive taste, that ain't going to happen. So, Ben Powers, what has he done to earn a spot with Seattle? He's going to be a free agent for the first time. He's just finishing up the last year of his rookie deal, and he has been a consistent starter for the Ravens. I think he's played both left guard and right guard. Good in pass protection, very good in pass protection. A little inconsistent in run defense, but I think that by far and away he is a massive upgrade over Gabe Jackson, who in this scenario we have getting cut. I think putting him next to Damian Lewis would be fantastic, even if you do end up re-signing him after this season. We did re-sign Phil Haynes to compete with Ben in this case, but if he doesn't work out, we can just end up cutting him anyway. So Ben Powers, what kind of deal is he looking at? I think his current contract projection, if we take a look at, I think PFF 4 years, $36 million, so that's $9 million per year. I'm going to be a little bit more stingy and get him a little less than that at 4 years, $32 million, with a generic cap at, let's say, around $5 million in year 1. That leaves us enough cap space to go out and make some other signings as well. So then to recap, the 4 free agent signings we went out and made, we have 2 huge ones with Daron Payne and Ben Powers from the Ravens. At inside linebacker, we went out and signed Drew Tranquill from the Chargers, and we went out and got some depth at nose tackle with Jonathan Hankins. So all in all, if we add up our year 1 cap hits in this very generic, signing video, we would be somewhere up around $23.5 million spent on these 4 free agents. Gives us just a little bit of room to play around with, because again, as I'll remind y'all, that it's only the top 51 players on the roster that have the biggest cap hits that end up carrying their cap hit against Seattle's cap space. So, without further ado, that is going to be the video for the day. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below if you like the content and you want to see more. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, go Hawks.